Hi and welcome back to Ravenscross Model Railway. I'm Graham. So in this video we're going to kind of touch on something I mentioned in the last video, which is the Mimic panels. And the whole process in that, the more I thought about it, I had to look at the hardware involved. Now let me just show you a little demonstration I did, bearing in mind that I've never used Engage before. So a lot of the point motors and accessories and stuff I kept back from the old 00. And I set up a little bit of an experiment to see how that works. Let's see. So what you can see here is a little bit of a mock-up. It's an Engage point. I think this is actually a large point. It is slightly damaged. It wasn't damaged when I first started this experiment, but hey ho. Driving this is a Seep point solenoid. This is what I had left over from the 00 gauge and didn't have any problems with them at all. Powering this is the DCC Concepts ADS. This is a 4-way system. I've also got 2 of the 8-ways. These are really good because each channel has its own CDU or capacitor discharge unit. You can also switch them manually. They've got the frog output or frog power output for a electro frog point, and you can also have the LED indicators as well. So for a Mimic panel, these are brilliant, albeit a lot of wiring. These are brilliant. But my concern was this. I'm just going to show you. Turn the controller on, and then if I fire the point, I'm just holding on to this so it doesn't fly everywhere, otherwise it kind of does that. Do it back, right, just hold that down into the chairs. So actually you can see, one, they're quite noisy. If you've got 18 going off in one go, then yeah, it's quite noisy. And it also bends the point. And my concern is, how long is that point going to last? One of the other issues you get with this, as you can see here, it's not going all over, or not throwing all the way. And that's because I'm not giving the CDU in the ADS 4SX unit to actually recharge. Don't get that with a point motor. So where does that lie with the Mimic panel? I want the Mimic panel to be able to have a nice little diagram on it of the layout. I want to press manually press a button, and I want that then to change the point on the actual layout, and also have LEDs on that panel as well to show me which routes is being selected. But I want to do it in a way so that I'm not relying on the feedback, the LED feedbacks from whatever device is controlling it. I want it from the actual point motor itself. I also need to try and find a way of getting that push button to work alongside whatever DCC software I'm going to be using as well. So the one problem with the ADS units is that yes, they have a switch on it, but it doesn't. You can change the point manually on that, but it doesn't relay back to the software that that's ever happened. So you've got potential there for the software thinking the point is in one state and actually physically is in another state. So how do we get around that then? Well, Yamrock have the DR4. Sorry. Yamrock have a unit called the 6016 LNGND. What this basically is a feedback unit. I have the DigiKai's DR4018 current sensing ones, which are basically the equivalent or the older version. And they've been updated massively. The Yamrock is really good. They've been updated massively, potentially for feedback. But what you can also do is you can have buttons and switches. Each channel is programmable, so it's brilliant. So I'm going to get into that. That then takes care of the conversion from analog push button to a DCC address to operate a point motor. And the point motor I'm going to use is the MTB DP4. This unit is a motor. You can set the actuator so it's more gentle on the actual point itself. It also has two outputs, so one switched outputs on it. One of them can be used for the frog polarity for my electric frog points, and the other one I can use as the LED feedback. Yeah, I know it means I've got to have a cable coming back for the LED on the panel, but what it does mean is that if the software throws that point, or I use the push button on the mirror panel, I get feedback to say that it's happened, which is great, absolutely fantastic. Also, I'm going to introduce into the mirror panel a very, very small touch panel so that I can actually use the software and the mirror panel all in one unit. So that will make life a lot easier. I am a long way off mirror panels. I've not even got track on the layout yet. But you've got to think forward. So when I'm doing track, I also need to think about what point motors I want to use. And that's what spurred this off, is what point motors am I going to use to work? Because I don't want to use fitting all the seeps and then go, actually, it's not going to work for the mint panel, and I've got to change it all later on. I'll have to get it done now, do it in the process as the build, as it happens. So that will be something I'll be putting together later on. Still got no track yet. Sorry, it's coming. Thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one. Bye for now.